I moved from Berlin to Lisbon for the healthier lifestyle, the sunshine, the surf, the slower pace of life. And over the years I started wondering, could Lisbon actually be the next global longevity hotspot? Could it be a blue zone? What even is a blue zone and what are the criteria for it? Let's start by diving into the Lisbon longevity scene. With over 300 days of sunshine, being outdoors is effortless, soaking up vitamin D, lowering disease risk, and being active. And while we may complain about how many hills there are, it certainly builds a lot of activity into your daily life. Then there's the food, fresh, local, and rooted in the Mediterranean diet, which is one of the most studied and recommended for longevity. Becoming a blue zone is more than just having a great lifestyle. It requires clear, measurable longevity markers. First off, proven longevity. Is the population actually living over 100 years old or more? And do you have verifiable data to back it up? Secondly, high life expectancy. Is this country amongst the top countries globally in terms of lifespan? And third, a local longevity hotspot. So is there a region in the country where people are living longer than the national average? Given these stringent criteria, I was actually surprised that there's not more blue zone data available. I only found one source claiming that in Sardinia, there are 33.6 centenarians for every 100,000 inhabitants. And I start to understand why people are questioning the blue zone concept. But putting all that aside, where would Portugal stand in comparison? Well, Portugal ranks 22nd globally for longevity, with around 27 centenarians per 100,000 people. But we're still missing data on whether Portugal or Lisbon itself is a distinct longevity hotspot.
So while Lisbon may not yet be a blue zone, we're exploring 3 longevity hubs that are hoping to change that.
We're at the Omnibloom Health Retreat here in Sesimbra, which is an hour south of Lisbon. And this is a unique retreat because it's a week long and they actually bring the experts in-house. So not only are they there to interpret your tests, but you can have sessions with them during the week.
So I have to admit, I am not a morning person. And mornings here start painfully early, before sunrise. But somehow by day 5, I actually start to like it. Maybe it was the sunrise, maybe it was the dopamine rush from working on the beach. Either way, I started to get into it. And another major longevity win, the ocean. Portugal basically has free access to cold plunges year-round. So if you don't mind briefly questioning all of your life choices, it's perfect for boosting circulation and reducing inflammation.
One particular thing that I like is the fact that the ocean water is cold and we could do a little bit of cold exposure as well.
Yeah, you and I had a great swim this morning.
Yeah. How do you feel after it?
Invigorated. So much better.
What this retreat is offering and this concept, as I thought about it, is the fact that we have all the experts in one place. So we can start a little bit in the beginning, before the retreat, with doing blood tests, hormonal tests, and also genetic tests, a genetic test that can be evaluated by a neuroscientist and genetic counselor. And afterwards we can put all these pieces together during the retreat with all the experts in one place.
Next up, it's time for something a little more data-driven. Before arriving, I did a full blood panel, and now I get to go through it with the expert, my functional medicine doctor.
So, I was telling you that in functional medicine we look a little bit different at the lab test. I want to understand who are you, what are your symptoms, what are your challenges. The lab tests are the last one to be evaluated through your symptoms and rituals and age and behaviors and stuff, okay? Why? Because lab tests are imperfect, and on the other hand, you are unique. So your value here might be a good one or not such a good one based on your symptoms. Magnesium is very helpful for all the women, especially in stressful situations, but is the one supplement that goes for all the women.
Okay, so step 1, get the data. Step 2, actually do something about it. Beyond the lab results, Omnibloom takes a full mind-body approach. Throughout the week, you rotate between different specialists, psychotherapists, medical doctors, neuroscientists, all working together to fine-tune your personal longevity game plan. And in case you're wondering, yes, the food is delicious. No detox juices here. There's also a lot of focus on community, because one of the biggest factors in longevity isn't just what you eat or how much you exercise, but who you surround yourself with. So does this kind of retreat actually work? Based on what people told me, absolutely.
One of my favorite parts about this retreat is the fact that we learn how to integrate healthy experiences in our day-to-day life.
It's easier to start from a retreat. It's easier, even if we had access to a lot of information, it's easier to make things better together.
The biggest thing I noticed wasn't the physical changes, it was a shift in mindset. Sometimes the best way to break bad habits isn't by sheer willpower alone, but just by stepping out of your routine and resetting everything from scratch. After a week in Sesimbra, I could see how and why I could live to 100 in Portugal. If Portugal is on its way to becoming a blue zone, Cascais might be leading the charge. This coastal town, known for its relaxed vibe and high quality of life, is now home to one of the most cutting-edge longevity clinics in Europe, BeLife. So what makes BeLife different? Instead of waiting for problems to appear, they map out your health in detail, using genetic analysis, epigenetic testing, and AI-powered health monitoring.
We have not only vitamins, we also have iron, and then we have NADH, glutathione, resveratrol, and all these anti-aging, anti-inflammatory drips.
These therapies aim to slow down aging at a molecular level. But what makes this clinic different isn't just the treatments, it's how data and AI are changing the future of healthcare.
You will be integrated all these data from wearables, from questionnaires, from other hospitals or other places he's visiting, everything in one application. And this application is always with him. So he's always there to teach him, look, your blood sugar is a little bit above average, so this means you need to do this and that. So he's always being learning. We are learning and teaching, so introducing a lot of coaching through teaching as well. In the future, very soon, we'll also be having fecal transplants as well. So we'll be hoping to treat endometriosis, intestinal disorders like Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, among autism as well.
This is next-level medicine, using the microbiome as a tool to treat conditions that were once thought to be unrelated to gut health.
We started Belong in Cascais, in Marina, because not only it's a beautiful setting, but Cascais is positioning itself as a longevity blue zone or city. So we are hoping to continue collaborating with the Cascais municipality to improve the city's environment, the way houses are built, the schools, teaching doctors at local health centers how to improve well-being, health of everyone, so we can get a more global effect.
With places like BeLife leading the charge, Portugal might certainly just become the next longevity hotspot, and Cascais the next blue zone. Staying healthy is easier when you're surrounded by people doing the same. It's one thing to know it's good for you, but actually sticking to it, that's where community makes all the difference. We all know it's good for us, but as Noemi explains, knowing isn't the hard part, doing it is.
We know what is good for us, and sometimes we gain a lot of knowledge. Some people get addicted actually to understand what is good for them, which is great. And then when it comes to put it into action, there is so many things in our life that prevents us from making it happen.
One of the biggest roadblocks? Social pressure.
Why can't you keep going? And what came out is social FOMO. I can't go out for dinner with my friends. I can't, go to the parties because people are going to drink and I shouldn't be drinking.
That's why Noemi and her husband created Longevity House, a place where healthy living doesn't mean isolation.
And so we created with my husband the Longevity House to give an environment where it's fun, it's social, and it's temptation and toxins free. It's really to have an alternative. So we see it as a community, as a movement to have a different way of living. That is, at the core of it is joy and fun.
And there's science to back this up.
There is this famous study, a longitudinal study, one of the longest we had on health and happiness, led by Harvard. The only thing that seems to matter over 50 years is social connection. People who have good relationships with their families, with their friends, tend to be much happier and live longer than people who don't. And when we also look at the blue zones, we see that they all have a purpose and social connection all the way until the end of their lives.
Because at the end of the day, what's the point of living to 100 if you're not surrounded by people you love? So, could Lisbon really become the next blue zone? It has the sunshine, the Mediterranean diet, and a growing wellness community. But true longevity isn't just about the environment, it's about how people live in that environment. I believe that if Lisbon fully embraces longevity-focused medicine, community-driven health, and more awareness around preventative wellness, it could well be on its way to becoming Europe's first real longevity hub. Which of these longevity practices would you try? A retreat, health diagnostics, or a biohacking community? As usual, please like and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you.